I want to spend some time just talking about these values of We Are Church because this is really important in my life. So I was a pastor for years, and it's very easy to just get into a routine of just teaching or whatever, or getting people to a place, doing some teaching without really thinking through what is my goal for each individual? Like, what do I want each person to be like? It's almost like parenting. It's very easy to just go through life and live with your kids rather than being intentional and going, when they are 18, what do I want them to look like? What do I want their character to be like? What are the things I'm supposed to teach them? And so when we look at the New Testament as elders, we saw there were certain values, certain things that we wanted of each person. And we wanted the church to be known as, first off, as we saw, it seems like the most important thing is that they are devoted worshipers of God. And we get this because the great commandment, when Jesus is asked, what's the most important commandment in the law? In Matthew 22, verse 37, he said to them, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind. This is the great and first commandment. So we go, okay, we've got to start with this. Let's look at our people. Do they love him with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength? Because honestly, when I was pastoring before, I put people into leadership because they were gifted, they were nice, they were generous, they didn't cause any problems. But I wasn't really looking and going, wow, does she love the person of Jesus? Because you can tell when someone's in love. Are they in love with this person? This is what we want. We want people that are devoted to him, just worshiping him. I think of Acts 2, verse 42, when it explains that early church, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching, to the fellowship, to the breaking of bread, to the prayers, and going, okay, what are we after here? We're not content with people just showing up. Whereas maybe in the early days I just thought if they just show up, that's great, and they'll get something. But now it's a lot more intentional. It's like we want every person in the church. So I tell the pastors, like, we want to look at this as our children and pray for each one individually. And first and foremost, look at their lives. Are they devoted worshipers? Do they just show up when it's convenient for them? Or is there such a love for Christ that they devote themselves to the same things they did in the early church, which is, I'm devoted to the apostles' teaching. I study this book. I get with other believers and study this book. I love to hear from this book. Are they devoted to prayer? Is it just something where they go, no, I want to be in the presence of God. I desire it. If there's a prayer gathering, I want to be there. Are they devoted to the fellowship? Or are they kind of just off on their own in their own relationship with God? And are they devoted to the Lord's Prayer? To the Lord's Supper. And that's why we have these holy communion times, because we're going, that's what the early church was about. There are just way too many people that go to a building for a service for all sorts of other reasons, and they only show up if it's exciting enough, if it's short enough, if it's convenient. And we're like, no, we want our people to be devoted to these things. And so that's our first value.